If I give any number to 2 to the power, then it will not going to give us 3. So the grouping of 3 consecutive ones is not possible. I have to check, is there any possibilities of having one more quad in the particular K-map? Yes, if we have, it needs to be takes place. Do we have any chances of getting all the 8 consecutive ones here? Yes, we are going to get one octet. So you can see the grouping here. Hello everybody, welcome back to the session 5 and chapter 2, that is Boolean Algebra. I am Rohini TS, lecturer, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. In the previous session of this chapter, we had a discussion regarding how to simplify the Boolean expression, isn't it? That is what simplification of Boolean expression, and that can be done with 2 methods. One is algebraic method and another one is K-map or Karnaugh map. So in the previous session, we had a discussion regarding this algebraic manipulation, and also we have discussed regarding what do you mean by min-term, max-term, and how to write the canonical form, like whether it is SOP or POS. Everything that I have discussed in my last session. So in our today's session, we are going to simplify the Boolean expression, that too with the help of this K-map or a Karnaugh map. That is what we are going to deal in our today's session. Simplification of Boolean algebra using Karnaugh maps. In short, it will be termed as K-map. Then what is the definition of this K-map? Who invented this? Then what is the use of having this? We'll see now. So a graphical display of the fundamental products in a truth table. So K-map is also called as what? It is a pictorial or a graphical representation of the fundamental products in a truth table. So whatever that I am going to get in a truth table, that will be represented in the format of pictorial or as a graphical representation of the Boolean expression. So that is the definition of this Karnaugh map, and the map method provides a simple procedure for minimizing the Boolean function. So mainly in order to reduce the complexity of Boolean expression, we are going to use algebraic manipulation along with a K-map. So this map or a K-map is also used in order to simplify or in order to simple the procedure of minimizing the Boolean expression. Then who invented this? So which, that is what proposed by E.W. Which in year 1952. That's why it is also considered as what? Which diagram. So there might be a question. So what is the another name for K-map or a Karnaugh map? What is that then? That is which diagram. So in the 1953, Maurice Karnaugh proposed a Karnaugh maps, also known as K-maps. So with the help of all these things, we are going to simplify the Boolean expression, and that will also reduce us the complexity of this Boolean expression. So now here we have some of the rules and regulation needs to be followed in order to simplify the Boolean expression by using this K-map. We'll see what are the rules we have in order to do the simplification of this K-map. What is the first one? Groups may not include any cell containing a 0. For example, in the truth table, there will be a possibilities of 2 values. What is that? One is 0 and another one is 1. So when I am using this K-map or when I am using this Karnaugh map for the simplification of Boolean expression, at that time, I should not include any of the cell which contains the value 0. That is the first rule. For example, you can see here, this is the wrong method. Why? Because I am grouping. That is what we have 0 and 1. But this is wrong. But when I have a 1 in the cell, I can consider that for the simplification. This is the right method. What is the first rule? The cell should not contain 0. So when we are grouping that, at that time the cell should not contain 0. This is the first rule. What is the next rule we have? Group may be horizontal or vertical but not diagonal. How can I make a group here? So it should not be diagonal. For example, I have 4 cells here. So in that 4 cell, I have 0, 1, 1, 0. At that time, the grouping must be either horizontal or vertical. It should not be diagonal. That is the second point, so that it will be considered as a wrong method. So if you consider this example here, group must be what? Either horizontal or vertical. So it should not be diagonal. And if I have a 0 here, I can't group it, because if a cell contains 0, then we should not include that for grouping. So this is the right method of grouping a cell either in horizontal or in the vertical. It should not be diagonal. Well, what is the next rule we have here? Group must contain 1, 2, 4, 8 or in general 2 power n cell. So it needs to be in the form of 2 power n. So if you consider any of the values like 2 power n, for example, if I consider 2 power 2, what is that? 2 into 2. So it will going to give us 4. So grouping of all the ones must be 4. Or else if I take 2 power 3, it must be 8. If it is 2 power 4, it will be group of 16 consecutive ones. So this is how we are going to do the grouping. So it has to be in the format of 2 power n. So I can't group 6 or I can't group 5. So it needs to be 2, 4, 8 or 16. It must be in that particular format. So that you can see here 1, 2, 4, 8. So if it is 1, that is identical grouping. So in general, we are going to have a 2 power n grouping of cells here. So you can see the example here. So this is the wrong method. As I told, I can't group the 3 consecutives once. So it needs to be in the power of 2. So if I give any number to 2 to the power, then it will not going to give us 3. So the grouping of 3 consecutive ones is not possible. For example, if I have one more 1 here, at that time I can make it as one group. So then I can use this corner of map method in order to group 4 consecutive ones. So if it is 3 or a 5 or a 7, I can't group it. So this is the wrong method. And if you consider, all these comes under the right method. So we can have a group of 2 consecutive ones, and also we can have a group of 8 consecutive ones. It can be either horizontal or a vertical. For example, if I have 1, 1, 1 in the place of all this, I can make this as another group. So in the same way, here we have vertical grouping of all the consecutive one. If I have 1, 1, 1 here, then I can also make this as another one group. So this is next rule. So we'll see the another rule, that is each group should be as large as possible. So as I said, it will be in the format of 1, 2, 4, 8. So it should not be any odd numbers, right? So first I must give the preference to the 8 consecutive ones. So in our second PUC, we are only going to deal with 4 variables. So that is A, B, C, D or P, Q or S. Any values it must be. So if it is 2 power n, ultimately we are going to have 16 boxes or 16 cells. For that purpose, I have to concentrate only on grouping on the octet. So there must be a possibility of grouping all the 8 consecutives once. So if that is not possible, then I have to go with a quad. Quad is nothing but group of 4 consecutive one. That may be either in the horizontal form or it will maybe in the vertical form. So next, at last I have to give the preference for pair, that is grouping of 2 consecutive ones. So that is what we have to group as large as possible. So if there is a possibility of grouping 8 consecutive one, I have to go with that. If there is no possibility of grouping 8 consecutive ones, then I have to go to, or I have to reduce that grouping to the quad. So instead of that, it should not be a different grouping. So you can see the right and wrong format here. That is what? Here we have a 8 consecutive ones. So I can group this as one octet. So here I have one more grouping of 8 consecutives one. I can consider this as one more octet. So instead of doing this, if I do like this, for example, I'm grouping 3. So the grouping of 3 is wrong. And here I'm making pair. Instead of this pair completely, I can take this as a group of 4 because 4 is greater than 2. So if there is any possible of making it as 8, then I have to go with that instead of doing all these things. So instead of making it as a 4 consecutive ones, I can group it as a one octet. So this is what the right and wrong method of grouping. So we have to group the values how much long or how much large as possible. This is the another rule. And also group may overlap. So here I have used these 4 consecutive ones in order to make one octet. In the same way, I can also use these same consecutive 4 ones in order to make as another octet. So group may be overlapped. There is no restrictions over there. So here also, here they have not overlapped any of the groups. So here also, as I told earlier, we can make it as one octet and I can make this as one quad. So this is what you have to try to cover all the number of consecutives one as large as possible. So these are the rules we have to follow in order to construct the K-map, in order to do the simplification of Boolean algebra. And also we have some more rules, like for example, you consider we have 16 cells, that is of 4 variables. So at that time, if I have 4 ones at all the 4 corners, at that time what I can do, I can use the map rolling concepts. That means if you consider any of the textbook or a book, it will be like this. So if I fold it, all the edges or all the corners comes together, isn't it? So in the same way, consider this as the center of a book. At the time, if I overlap it or if I roll it, at the time all one will come to this place. So it will be considered as what? One quad. So wherever you have 1 at all the 4 corners, that should not be considered as an identical value. Instead of that, you have to consider that as 1 quad. In the same way, if I have 4 consecutives 1 in the left corner and 4 consecutive ones in the right corner, it should not be considered as 2 different quad. Instead of that, map needs to be rolled, then it needs to be considered as 1 octet instead of considering this as 2 different quad. So these are the very important rule when you are constructing a K-map in order to simplify the Boolean expression. So what are the contents we had discussed here? What is the first one? Group should not include any values like 0. So wherever we have 0, that should not be used as a grouping of variables. And also group must be either horizontal or vertical. It should not be diagonal, and it must contain the 2 power n values. So that may include 1, 2, 4, 8. Highest preference needs to be given to the octet, that is grouping of 8, then grouping of 4, at last grouping of 2 if possible. So then it can be overlapped, and also we have to mark all the 4 corners as 1 quad instead of considering this as identical values. And here also if I have a consecutive ones in both the corners, then I have to use the map overrolling concept. Then I will consider this as what? 1 octet. So these are the rules. If you followed, then it will be easy in order to simplify the Boolean expression. We'll see the next one, that is how we are going to construct the K-map. What is the first point? Each square represents a min term or a max term. Already we got to know regarding min term and a max term. So this is what? Sum of product, and this is product of sum, right? Then a K-map for n variable is made up of 2 power n squares. So for example, if I have 2 variables, consider 2 variables, that is my n value. At that time, 2 power 2. So 2 power 2 in the sense 2 into 2. So it will going to have maximum of 4 cells only. So if I have 3 variables, then 2 power 3, 2 into 2 into 2. It will be 8. So I can have 8 boxes or 8 cells. So this is how we are going to draw the K-map for the given number of variable. For example, if you have 2 variables, at that time the number of cells will be 4. So if you have 4 variables, at that time number of cells will be 16. So if you have 3 variables called ABC, at that time number of cells will be 8. So then how the grouping will going to be takes place? As I told, we have 3 kinds of grouping. One is consecutive 2s. So if we have a 2 consecutive ones, that will be a pair. If it is a 4 consecutive ones, then that will be a quad. If it is a 8 consecutive ones, then that will be octet. So here you can see that. So can I take this as one pair as per the rule? No. So that is what? We have to make a group of 1. So wherever we have 1 in a cell, that needs to be grouped. So if I group 2 consecutive 1, that will be considered as pair. And also quad. Quad in the sense what? It is a grouping of 4 consecutive ones. So how many quad I have here? Can you just observe? So here we have 4 quad. How is that? We'll see now. So here I am going to group a consecutive 4 ones. That is considered as quad 1. I have to check, is there any possibilities of having one more quad in the particular K-map? Yes, if we have, it needs to be takes place. Then here I can make a group of another 4 consecutive ones. As per the rule, it can be overlapped. So it will be considered as what? Quad 2. So, is there any possibility of having one more quad in this particular cells? Yes. So, that is what? This one. This will be considered as quad 3. Okay. I should not include remaining 0 for my grouping. Okay. That is regarding quad. So, what about this octet? That is just a grouping of 8 consecutive ones. So, here, where do we have a consecutive 8 ones here? You can observe we have collection of 8 ones here. This will be considered as what? Oct1. Is there any possibility of having one more octet in this particular K-map? Yes, we have that. That is what? This one. This will be considered as what? Octet 2. Okay. This is pair, quad and octet. This is how we are going to make a grouping of pair, quad as well as octet. We'll see the next important point, that is designation. Already we got to know the designation like M0, M1, M2. So if it is a 4 variables up to 15 designation from 0 to 15. So if it is a 3 variable, there we are going to have 0 to 7, isn't it? So now how we are going to find the designation? So for example, here I have 4 variables called A, B, C, D. Then how I am supposed to write? If it is 4 variables, how many cells I am supposed to take? 2 power 4. 2 2s are 4. 4 2s are 8. 8 2s are 16. That means I need to take 16 cells for my representation of K-map here. So just draw 16 cells. That is what? In both rows as well as column. It must be 4 rows, 4 columns. Then it will be 16 cells in a particular K-map. So here I have 4 variables A, B and C, D. A, B will be considered as a row and C, D will be considered as a column. Then how we are going to do the grouping? It needs to be in the reflective form. So A bar, B bar, A bar, B, A, B, A, B bar. So that is what? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. It needs to be in the reflective form. I can't take double 0. Next, immediately double 1. 0, 1, 1, 0. It should not be like that. So it should be in the reflective form. So that A bar, B bar, A bar, B, then A, B bar. Then here, same thing. C bar, D bar, C bar, D, C, D, C, D bar. Okay. So whatever could be the values they are going to give, like for example, PQRS, MNOP. So whatever could be the variable's name. So here you have to use the same format. So bar bar, bar B and no bar. At last we have a bar for second variable. In the same way for rows as well as the column. So designation will going to be starts from 0, right? So 0, 1, then don't write 2 here. It is just a standard format. You have to follow like this. 0, 1, 2, 3. So then you have to add 4 for the previous one. So 0 plus 4, 4. 1 plus 4, 5. 3 plus 4, 7. 2 plus 4, 6. And you have to leave the third row, come to the last one. So here 4 plus 4, 8. 5 plus 4, 9. 7 plus 4, 11. Then 6 plus 4, 10. So consider this row, last row, and then add 4 to this one. That is 8 plus 4, 12, 9 plus 4, 12, 13, 11 plus 4, 15, 10 plus 4, 14. Totally how many designation we have here? At most 15. It starts from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is the way of representing the or writing the designation. I hope you got to know how to do the grouping and how to draw the K-map. Like you have to take the variables, you have to write its designation. So we'll see the first problem. Simplify Z is equal to sum of A, B, C 1, 4, 3, 6, 7 using K-map. So now here how many variables do we have? A, B, C. That is we have 3 variables. Then number of cells needs to be taken is 8. So 2 power 3, 2 into 2 into 2. 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8. I have to take 8 cells here. That includes 2 rows and 4 columns. So I am going to consider A as a row and B and C as a column variable. So it will be 0, it will be 1. So we are following SOP, that is sum of product. So for that purpose, you have wherever we have X bar, wherever we have complement, that needs to be 0. Wherever we have normal variable, that needs to be 1. So that 0, 1. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. So this is what the reflective format. So let me write the designation here. 0, 1, 2, 3, and we have 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are the designation. Then how to solve this Boolean expression using this K-map? So now you see what are the numbers or what are the designation we have here? 1. So in the designation place of 1, write this as 1. Next, in the place of designation 3, write one more 1. So after that, 6. So where do we have 6? Here. So then 7. So write like this. Okay. So after that, I have to check for the grouping. So remaining value needs to be filled by 0. I should not use 0 for my grouping. So the remaining value will be 0. The empty boxes or a cell needs to be filled by 0. So whatever the designation we have, there I have to put 1 when we are dealing with this SOP or sum of product form. So now I have to check, do we have any chances of having consecutive 8 ones here? I have to give the first preference for my octet. But here we don't have octet. Do I have any quad? No. So then do I have any pair here? Yes. So I can make a pair. So pair of this 1. So that is what will be considered as pair 1. Can I get one more pair here? Yes. This will be considered as one more pair. That is pair 2. Okay. So here we have 2 pair, and let me tell you how to simplify this. So consider these 2 values. What pairing of this value that includes A bar row and includes B bar C column, B C column. So here what is the common in a row? We have only one row, that is A bar. So for my pairing 1, the common variable in the row will be A bar. Then so here what is the common thing in the column? So B bar C, B C. As we all know that B plus B bar, as per the law, B plus B bar will be 1. So if I add any variable with its complement, it will be 1. So if I multiply any variable with its complement, then that will be 0. So that here B and B bar will get cancelled, or it will be 1, and the remaining common variable will be only C. So it will be A bar C. So next I have one more pair here. What is that? A is a row here. So A is the common variable. Let me consider P2, that is pair 2. A is a common variable. After that, next what we have? We have 2 columns. One is BC and another one is BC bar. So here C and C bar will going to be nullified, or it will be 1. So then we have a common variable as B. So AB. Simplified expression of Boolean value is. So what is that? We have Z of A comma B comma C is equal to, what is the value? A bar C plus A B. So that is SOP. That is sum of product. So I am adding the products here. That is sum of product. So this is the answer, or this is the way to solve the Boolean expression using K-map. We'll see the next question. Reduce f of a comma b comma c comma d is equal to m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus m4 plus m5 plus m7 plus 9 plus m11 plus m12 plus 13 plus 15. So here I have plotted a K-map and I have written the variables that I wanted to take along with a designation. So it contains 4 variables called A, B, C, D. A, B as considered as a row and C, D considered as a column. So as we all know that when we are dealing with this SOP, so if a variable is complemented, it will be 0. If variable is a normal variable, it will be 1. So here, so 0, 0 and here 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. In the same way, 0, 0, 0, 1 and 1, 1, 1, 0. It needs to be in the reflective format. So now M1, what is that? Designation 1. So where do I have that? Here I am going to write 1, and in the place of M2, 1, M3, here 1, M4, it will be here 1, M5 will be here, M7 and then M9. Okay, then 11, after that 12, here then we have 13, and in the place of designation 15, we have 1. So remaining values needs to be filled by 0. So let me change the pen color in order to show you how we are going to differentiate the grouping. So now I have to check, do we have any chances of getting all the 8 consecutive ones here? Yes, we are going to get 1 octet. So you can see the grouping here. We have group of 8 consecutive ones. I am going to consider this as octet 1. So next, is there any chances of making a quad next? So again I have to check for the octet, but there is no possibility of having one more octet here. So I will go with a quad. Quad is consecutive, collection of 4 consecutive 1. So here I have one more quad. I need to cover the 1 value. So it will be considered as what? Quad 1. Then, did I left any one here? Yes, I left the one here. I can't make it as a quad. Instead of that, I will consider this as pair. This is pair 1. Octet 1 and quad 1, and we have one pair here. So now we'll see how to simplify this one. So now I got to know that I have a octet, I have a quad, I have one pair. So these are my 3 groupings. So let me go with this octet first. So octet, octet 1. So if I wanted to take octet, then that includes which row and which column? So it includes A bar, B bar row, A bar B, AB and AB bar. So you can see that A bar and A will going to be cancelled. Again A bar and A will going to be cancelled. That means A bar plus A is always equal to 1. So then I can't consider that as a common variable. So if you consider this one, B will going to be nullified with B, and again like this. That means we don't have any common in the rows. Then what is the common thing in the column? Here I have taken 2 columns, C bar D, C D. So C and C bar will going to be get cancelled, and I am going to left out with only D. So that octet 1 is nothing but D. So now I have simplified this octet. Next, let me go with this quad. So if I wanted to consider the quad, what are the rows and columns I am supposed to consider? Here I have to consider this box, so that it includes A bar B and AB, right? So this includes, let me erase these 2 here. So now I have to consider this A bar B row and AB row along with this C bar D bar column, then C bar D column. So if I consider a row, which is the common variable here, this A bar A will going to be get cancelled. Then I have a B as a common. So if I consider a quad, at that time B will be there. Along with that, so if I consider the column, so what is the common variable I can get? C bar, D will going to get cancelled, and I will get this C bar as a common variable for the column. So if I simplify this quad, I am going to get B C bar. So I am done with octet as well as quad. So now we'll see about this pairing now. So if you consider the pair, I have taken these 2 designation. What is the row value for this designation? That is A bar B bar, right? Then no need to take any other rows. So these 2 will be considered as a common for row. Let me write A bar B bar. Then if I consider the column here, what is that? C D bar. D cancelled with D bar. After that we have only C, right? So I am going to get A bar B bar C. So this is how we are going to simplify the quad, octet as well as a pair. So first preference will be given to the octet, next quad, and then pair. So let me write the answer. D plus BC bar plus A bar B bar C bar. How to write the simplified version then? F of A comma B comma C comma D is equal to, what is the first variable? D plus BC bar plus A bar B bar C. This is sum of products. That is what we are dealing with SOP form. I hope you all understood regarding solving these kind of K-map. So plotting of this K-map and writing its designation will be for 2 marks, and if you have simplified version, then that will be for 2 marks. If you have written the final answer, that is simplified expression for F of A comma B comma C D is equal to, if you have written the last simplified version of this Boolean expression, that will be for 1 mark. So surely you are going to get these kind of questions in your examination. That is what in the part D. It will be for 5 marks and most important topic. So here I have next question. So that is what? Simplify PQRS sum of 0, 2, 5, 7, 8, 10, 13, 15 using K-map. So already I have plotted everything. I have given the designation. Let me write in the place of 0, 1, 2, then 5, 7, then 8, 10, 13, 15. Okay, so now I have to concentrate on giving the 0 for empty values. Let me fill it first. After that, I have to consider any combination of 8 consecutive 1. That is, I have to look for octet. But here if I see I don't have any octet, I will go with a quad. So that is a grouping of 4. This will be considered as my quad 1. So as I discussed in the rules of that simplification of this K-map, so all the 4 corners consist of 1. That will be considered as what? 1 quad. So this will be considered as quad 2. So all the corners, all the 4 corners has 1, that will be considered as 1 quad. Let me simplify this quad 1 first. Quad 1, that comprises of what? This P bar Q row as well as PQ row. So what is the common variable here? P and P bar will get cancelled. Q is the common variable for row. And consider a column R bar S, RS. This will be cancelled again. Yes. So QS is the simplified version for this first quad. Then next let me consider this quad 2, that is this row P bar Q bar and RS. So P bar Q bar will be the row which will be common for these 2 variables. Along with that, if I consider a column R bar S bar, then RS bar, that will going to be same for all the 4 corners of a column. So then if I consider a row P bar Q bar, then PQ bar for a row. So at that time P bar and P will going to be cancelled. Q bar will be the common variable for row, that is quad 2 is equal to Q bar. Fine. Next, let me consider the column here. I have to consider 2 columns. One is R bar and R will going to be nullified. So the common variable will be S bar. So this is how the answer. How I am going to write? Simplified expression. Simplified expression for f of PQRS is equal to QS plus QS bar. So what is the final solution here? QS plus Q bar S bar. This will be the final solution for this K-map, that is in the SOP, that is sum of product. So this is what the assignment that I wanted to give for you. Just I wanted to give a hint. Wherever we have bar will be considered as 0. So consider 0, 0, 0, 0. If it is 0, 0, 0, 0, obviously it belongs to M0 designation. In the same way, find the designation for all and plot the K-map and let me know the solution in the comment section. We'll see the next one, that is with respect to POS, that is product of sum format. So here we are going to deal with addition instead of multiplication, so that we are going to take a variable in the format of plus. So product of sum. So we are finding the product of summation of max terms. So if it is a pos, that is related to max term. So then it will be capital M. So when we are dealing with this pos or a max term, at that time, wherever we have a complemented variable, that is what, if it is a normal variable, that will going to be assigned as 0. If it is a complemented variable, that will be assigned as 1. So now you can consider it as 0, 1 and here it will be 0, 0, 0 plus 1 and 1 plus 1 and here it will be 1 plus 0. This is how the value will going to be represented. Let me consider the designation 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, right? Then, so what is the value we have? 0, 3, 6, 7. So as we all know that when we are dealing with this POS, at that time we have to take a normal variable. So when we are dealing with this POS or a product of sum, at the time instead of giving 1 for the variable which I am taking, I have to fill that with 0 and the empty values or empty cell needs to be filled by 1. So that is the difference between SOP and POS. So here what is the first designation? 0. There I am going to put 0. For 3 I will take 0. For 6 I will take 0 and for 7 I will take 0. So remaining values needs to be filled by 1. So now grouping of this max term of this POS form, I have to group 0 instead of 1. So is there any possibility of having octet here? No. No 8 consecutive 0 here and even no consecutive zeros here. So I can't make quad as well as I can make octet. So I can group consecutives 2s. So this will be considered as pair 1. So do I have any other pairing here? No. So this 0 will be considered as identical group 1 and another 0 will be considered as identical group 2. Okay. So if you consider the pair, at the time which row I am supposed to take? A and A bar. So if I wanted to do the pairing of this one, which is the common factor here for row, I have to take A and A bar. So as we all know that it will be 1, so that we are not going to take this. So row will going to be, we don't have any common in row, and I have to take column, that is B bar plus C bar. So B bar plus C bar. Let me consider the identical one value. So there I have a row called A bar. So A bar. After that plus, which is the column here? B bar plus C. And if I consider identical value 0, another identical 2, at the time row common variable will be A and its column will be B plus C. So it will be A plus B plus C. Let me write the simplified version or simplified expression is simplified expression. Dear student, remember you should not write sum of. So you have to use a pi when we are dealing with max term or a POS or a product of sum. So simplified pi of m of, or whatever the variable they have used, that is let me change. So pi of f of a comma b comma c is equal to, that is what is the first variable? B bar plus C bar into A bar plus B bar plus C into A plus B plus C. This is what? Product of sum. So in between you can see that we have a product, that is product of sum. We are performing addition and we are multiplying it, that is product of sum. This is how we are supposed to find the solution for this K-map when we are dealing with this POS or a product of sum method. I hope you all understood. Here I have some of the exercise problem. Along with that, I have important questions with respect to 2 marks as well as the 5 marks question. So here I have listed out some of the most frequently asked question of for 2 marks as well as for 5 marks questions. So you can see the some of example with respect to this K-map. It's all about today's session. Let me meet you in the next session. Until that, keep learning, keep on growing. Thank you.